What's going on, Los Angeles? Welcome to Radio Row Day. Is this day 2 considered? We were here yesterday, or do we say
day 2, day 1A?
You know, 1B, 2A. But yeah, we are here, Radio Row on a Monday. Beautiful. Joined by the great Ryan Anderson. What's going on, brother? How we doing?
Doing good. Doing very good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you again, Jamal, my man. Back, the madman. What's going on?
Living the dream.
Yeah. Good. Well, there's a few more people out here today, shuffling in the media. It's starting to feel more like Radio Row a little bit. We're seeing some people cruise around. We did our first interview today, which we're going to get to later in the show. We'll just tease it real quick. Chef KK. She's a celebrity chef, cooks for Von Miller, also works at a local spot here in LA, but we'll tease that later on. But fellas, what's going on? What's the feeling on a Monday? What's been the vibe like today?
Well, I missed yesterday because I was still recovering from my trip to Las Vegas,
which
was a work trip.
Yeah.
Wasn't just fun.
We're gonna get to that, but yeah, Jamal, how you doing today?
Good, man. You know, it feels like it's starting to coalesce. You know, in the spirit of Chef KK's sort of recipe talk. You know, I think the ingredients are starting to coalesce today, and
that.
I think things are gonna marinate tomorrow, and then we're really gonna be rocking and rolling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I feel like every time I talk to, especially like on podcasts, I learn like a new vocabulary word.
Coalesce. It's a good word.
I mean, I heard of that before. I would never think of using it. So well done. Coalesce. That's the vibe of Monday. Coalesce. So, yeah, I mean, we just wanted to jump on here, touch base with everyone. We're going to talk a little Shrine Bowl, which Ryan was at in Vegas. Talk a little Senior Bowl, which Jamal did a live stream on during. And then Ryan was on the live press conference with, who was all on that? Coach McVay.
I just was there for the Coach McVay. They had 9 different podiums we went to, so I just went to the horse's mouth.
There you go. Had to pay. Yeah, I think Cam Akers, Andrew Whitworth, a bunch of them. But yeah,
whole bunch of people.
So we'll update you on what the good old McVay is. What do you call him, Jamal? The
14-year-old genius.
There you go.
Yeah. Boy wonder.
So we'll talk that a little bit, and then we'll get to our interview with Chef K. But I guess let's just, unless you have something else to add, let's just start with the Shrine Bowl. So yeah, I had you on when you first. What was it? Wednesday when you first got there? Tuesday?
Yeah,
no, I had you on Monday, right?
I cannot remember, to be honest with you.
It's been a whirlwind.
It was a day that ends in Y.
Yeah,
it was before the game, a couple of days of practice, so probably Wednesday, Tuesday. I don't know,
sometime last week. But first, let me ask you this: how was Vegas? Did you win any money? Did you do anything non-work related? You can divulge. Don't worry, you won't get in trouble.
The most fun I had, I went to the Public House in the Luxor. Was my go-to for watching games. I watched some Warriors down there, had some beers. I was hanging out with the most of the bartenders there.
That guy.
Yeah.
Like the local 50-year-old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was a good time. Not a lot otherwise. That was
no betting. Didn't put any money down.
You know, I cannot gamble. It makes me sick to my stomach to gamble in any fashion. So I've just crossed it off my list. I can't even pull the handle on the on the slot machine.
Okay.
Then
good for you. Stay away then.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I need to introduce you to someone else I know. I won't divulge you. But for those of you that are, here's an easy plug for everyone. For those of you that are into gambling and do want to bet on the Super Bowl, we have a bunch of phenomenal betting partners. If you live here in California, BetUS, you get 125% sign-up bonus on your deposits. That's huge. If you live in a betting state, you're listening to us. First of all, thank you. If you're not even in LA and you're listening to us, but if Colorado, Arizona, we got deals with DraftKings, FanDuel, PointsBet, basically any major sports book. You can go. I'll have the link in the description, but it's a link tree, LAFB betting offers. So I'll have that below, or you can go to LAFBnetwork.com and click on LAFB betting offers. Sign up today. Get on all those fun prop bets. So if you're not a bettor, but if you had to bet on Gatorade color, that's always like one of the funnest prop bets. What would you choose?
My favorite's the red, so I'm just gonna call it red.
Okay. Yeah. Stain all the clothes. Good.
Yeah.
Jamal?
Orange.
Okay, I'll go like the Arctic Frost. The blue.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to remember what it was last year. I remember when it was in Minnesota, there was big speculation it was going to be purple. Because remember they did the whole Purple Rain tribute to Prince, and I don't think it was. I think it was like yellow or something. Of course. Yeah. Any of those, head to those links we'll have in the description below to bet on that. So, okay. So no betting. Anything else you did fun in Vegas, or just watching football?
Yeah. Well,
talk to us about the experience of the Shrine Bowl.
It's really cool. So it starts off, the first couple of days are at UNLV. first year in Vegas, but this is where they started, which is a really beautiful, brand new facility that they just built in the last few years. Really nice field. It's still considered the smaller of the two collegiate, 2 or 3, I guess, collegiate all-star games. So those 2 days at UNLV were actually the biggest, with all the media and the all the different scouts and the agents all showed up there. So it was kind of mobbed, and really great atmosphere. And with the media pass anyway, you can get right up close to coaches, what they're doing during the drills. You get to hear what they're talking about. I met some of the coaches and some of the scouts, and it's really fun to get to know those guys, and even just to observe what what they're focusing on for these guys, who are trying to transition from the college game into the pro game. I talked to Marquand McCall about what he was working on there.
What's his nickname again?
Bully Ball McCall. You can find him. You can find him there on Twitter, Bully Ball McCall. Love it. Just is there something that kind of every college guy needs to work on coming out? And it's different per position, but really cool there. And then we moved over to the Allegiant Stadium, which is a short walk from the Luxor. So if you're ever going to go check out a game there, they've had a bunch of stuff there recently. They just had the Pro Bowl there.
Yes, yesterday. Huh?
It's no SoFi Stadium, but it's a good looking stadium. I didn't get to partake in any of the food or anything like that, but once you got in there, it was a completely different atmosphere. The scouts were up in the stands and media down on the field. But it was a great time, and sitting in the press box during the game was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Tell me about I saw in your videos, and a lot of people talk about this. For some reason, SoFi doesn't have this, but for some reason in Allegiant, there's like the end zone and then concrete. And we saw guys almost like,
I saw a few guys bite it.
Yeah. Like, what are they doing there? Is that usually covered? I'd never heard that until this.
Covered actually at the game and during the Pro Bowl, which I tuned into for a total of like maybe 10 minutes.
2-hand touch.
Yeah. I failed to notice, but definitely a death trap there. Yeah. And even I was at the NFLPA bowl at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena for a couple of days, and they had a couple of areas that like cleats do not go on those. You're just a couple of guys are gonna bite it, and I don't know why. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was Reggie Bush, ran off the sidelines. I think it was in Detroit, slipped, and he ended up suing. So
I think that was Bush. You're right.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
And ever since then, it's just like, now that I've seen it in actual NFL stadiums and the Rose Bowl, it's just strange that would be allowed. I don't know.
It's one of those like common sense things that I think these architects and engineers just don't think about, and you don't blame them, but I just like, it seems so simple. Like, don't put concrete right behind the end zone where guys are running full speed.
Yeah.
I remember wearing cleats, and if you're anything besides grass or like sand, it's like being on ice skates. So
yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. I posted a video of Samori Toray of Nebraska just tiptoeing like, after he caught this amazing catch, and he didn't fall, thankfully, but yeah,
that's good. So we'll put you on the spot before we wrap it up with the Shrine Bowl. Just give us a couple names that stood out to you. They don't have to be UCLA, USC guys. If they did, those stand out. Love to hear about it. Just a couple guys you're like, okay, these guys popped off this week and raised their draft stock. Yeah,
the running back I mentioned earlier, whose name I've forgotten, I don't have it right in front of me, from USC.
Oh, Keontae Ingram.
Yeah. He really popped off during practice, but I didn't see him at all at the game, so I'm not sure what happened with that. But something to watch. And then a couple of guys from the Shrine Bowl got invites to the Combine, actually, that people weren't really necessarily expecting to go. EJ Perry, Ivy League guy, Brown. He actually ended up winning the offensive MVP at the Shrine Bowl, playing for the losing team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually both. Diego Fagot from Navy, who I also he's a interesting linebacker to watch. It'll be interesting to see if he gets drafted at all, but that kind of guy that you kind of root for, because he's all over the place, making all the tackles. He's another one of those hype guys out there, true leader as well.
Lunch bill guy, real lunch bill guy.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta start using that phrase. Samori Toray of Nebraska, as I mentioned before, caught a couple of really big touchdown passes. Definitely an outside guy. Doesn't have the big speed, but he's got the length. He's really athletic. Good ball position.
Okay.
Body movement kind of guy. And then Chandler of North Carolina, who I actually voted for as the offensive MVP. He had some really good carries, and
a little media vote there. I love it.
Yeah,
Drop that diamond there.
He drove he was on the West team. He really drove the offense there on the ground, in a lot of ways. So those are the ones that are going to stand out. And then I'll have some draft profiles up there on LAFB.
Yeah, we already got Bully Ball McCall already up there.
Yep.
So that's on LFBnetwork.com. We're starting our draft profile series basically since he wrote that all the way through the draft. So we're your home for the draft, and obviously we kind of gear those towards our Rams and Chargers who they could select. So probably not going to be a lot of quarterback profiles because I don't think either of those teams are drafting a quarterback anytime soon. But we'll have everything else that gears towards them, starting with Bully Ball McCall. Yeah, but it seemed like a really fun game. Quickly, last thing, Kyle Phillips, though, because that's my guy. I love Kyle Phillips. How was his week? How did he look?
Oh, he looked phenomenal, yeah. And again, not a guy that I saw too much in the game. Maybe they didn't want to over-rep him or something like that, but he was making some really incredible catches. Smaller guy, slot guy, and he was getting open with all this. The two weighted groups that I saw a lot of, I mean, the defensive backs, there was a lot of talent in defensive backs at the Shrine Bowl, and wide receivers. So he was among some really good talent, going up against some really good talent. He was able to get open, and he's a fun, shifty guy. And
I love Kyle Phillips.
Yeah,
he's going to make an NFL team very happy. Probably still in that mid-round range, I'm assuming. But he'll be one of those guys, kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown from SC last year, who went, I think, in the 4th round, ended up being like 4th in receivers and yards for the Detroit Lions this year, and their number 1 receiver. So I think Kyle Phillips is going to kind of have that effect, in my opinion, this year, and we'll see. Hopefully, I think he has a combine, but I can't remember. I could be mistaken, but fun guy to watch. So, Jamal, let's get to the Senior Bowl, though. Watch that close. We jumped on a live stream together. A lot of fun. You, Will Decker, the Desai guys. What do you think of the? I mean, you obviously didn't really watch a lot of practices, but of the game overall, what do you think about it?
Yeah, Ryan, I think it was, it was sort of the game that we expected. It was a little low scoring, a lot of great defensive plays, a lot of forced turnovers, a lot of chaos there. I think when you look at the first round of the draft this year, we were talking about this on the live stream and in Draft is in Session as well. It's not hyperbole to think that there's going to be 10 defensive linemen taken in the first round, and there's probably going to be 7 or 8 offensive linemen taken, and then probably 2 to 3 defensive backs, and then it's going to be kind of every other position is going to be sprinkled. And so clearly that was really the point of emphasis, was how was this elite D-line going to match up against some of these elite O-line prospects, and it was advantage D-line for sure.
All week it seemed like that.
Yeah, I think defensive line was head and shoulders above the offensive line in any other skill position, and that really sort of manifested itself with the quarterback play. And we were talking about some of the guys like Sam Howell, like Desmond Ridder, and just struggling a little bit with consistency against elite competition. And so really kind of high energy game, lots going on, but it was a little sloppy as expected in any all-star game, a little low scoring. But overall, I think a really great week out there.
Yeah, these all-star games, for those that don't know, it's all about the practice. Like the game is kind of like for entertainment value, but all the value and the evaluation, what the scouts do is they're looking at practice all week and the one-on-one drills and stuff like that. But speaking of the game, though, I mean, quarterback play looked pretty bad in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
it was pretty bad.
The quarterback play was really tough, and I think Sam Howell, was a better runner than he was a thrower in the game, and Desmond Ridder seemed like he still had cobwebs from that Alabama semifinal that he hadn't shaken off yet, and across the board we went. So it was some tough quarterback play for sure.
Yeah, his name's escaping me now, from Western Kentucky. Who actually led, I think, the whole FBS in passing yards. But he was like underthrowing guys by 15 yards. I don't know if he was just nervous. Like, we know he can throw the football, but I'm not saying he's going to be an NFL talent. But to see some of those throws was like,
it was tough. Yeah.
It
it shows that I think a little bit every year we're obviously very enamored with the quarterback position. It's the glamour position. It's the position that can change a team's fortune. I don't know if this is a year where you're going to have a true kind of franchise guy, someone who's going to change the trajectory of your franchise. I think there's some quality backups, but not anyone that's going to kind of change the trajectory of your franchise.
Yeah, that's how it seems. And so for those quarterback needy teams, obviously that's unfortunate. But luckily for our Chargers and Rams, they're not quarterback needy. So I think we'll see in that first round potentially one of those D linemen go to the Chargers. I think that seems like a good fit for them. But we'll get much more into that.
Jermaine Johnson.
There you go. He's been a big name. A lot of Chargers fans
Yes.
are keying in on and talking about.
I mean, him on tape and over the course of the week, it's just been incredible to see. I call him sort of the defensive version of Jameson Williams because he couldn't crack Georgia's rotation. I mean, just think about how sick the Georgia defensive line is when a guy like Jermaine Johnson has to transfer to Florida State, ends up getting 70 tackles, 12 sacks, and just can do it all. Bull rush, edge rush, spin moves, nice, great footwork, great hands. So that would be a steal for the Chargers, frankly, if he's even going to stay on the board at 17. He may go earlier.
Yeah, and it obviously wouldn't be enough to totally fix the run defense, but it's a good step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
it's the pieces you need to start building around, especially when a guy they took in the first round a few years ago, Jared Tillery, just unfortunately hasn't panned out in that aspect of the defensive game. They still try to develop him and not throw the towel on him yet, but I mean, they need to upgrade for sure. But here it's Super Bowl week, so we'll get to more draft stuff later. But now let's talk about the Rams press conference today. Coach McVay, beautiful Coach McVay. What was the vibe like in that press conference? Obviously, he's got to be fired up, right? I mean, he always seems fired up.
He was surprisingly grounded.
Really?
Like he's
calm? Okay.
Calm. I mean, he's still operating at a frequency above the rest of us. He was locked in, being very thoughtful. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
What were some so I didn't watch it. You did.
Yeah.
What were some of the takeaways you'd say, or I know you were live tweeting during it too, but let me ask you this, was it a informative press conference, or was it more of like people just asking kind of like fun questions during the week like you see in media a lot during Super Bowl?
Well, McVay is great at deflecting.
Yeah, of course.
And using the coach speak to make sure he's not letting any cats out of the bag for game plan or anything like that. And I think generally people avoided those questions. So it was mostly kind of some filler questions about his experience as a coach getting up to this point, going through this year, bringing on, how do they get Odell Beckham, and how do you get Von Miller worked into the team. And, that's what he's the master at is, creating that we, not me atmosphere. And he's, from what we've heard from Beckham and Miller and from what we've seen from them in terms of how they've really joined into the team. I mean, it's obvious that it's working.
Yeah. Jamal, how much of an advantage do you think McVay has being like the mentor to Zac Taylor, the Bengals? You see sometimes where the mentor just always dominates the mentee, and then every now and then you get that mentee that kind of usurps the mentor. But how big advantage do you think McVay has?
I think it's significant. I mean, when we look at, say, the college game, for instance, right? I mean, Nick Saban is now 27-2 against all of his assistants. When you talk about, I think one of the notable mentor pupil relationships was the Bills, right, with Parcells and Belichick, and Belichick got the better of Parcells towards later in his career, but usually kind of that mentor kind of understands tendencies and idiosyncrasies of the protege in a deep way, and so then it's kind of on the protege. Sometimes it becomes this cat and mouse game. You sort of expect then the curveball, and then the expecting of the curveball, and on and on we go. And so, but I think, having said that, I think there's two things really in McVay's sort of favor here. One is obviously the familiarity piece as being the mentor. The second is just being at the Super Bowl a second time.
Yeah.
And I think that it was pretty evident that the Rams looked a little bit deer in the headlights the first go around a couple years ago against the Patriots. McVay did, the team did, and so forth. And I think he's just going to be a lot calmer, more sure of himself, and just being as routine oriented as McVay is now, knowing what to expect, knowing those media demands, knowing what to look, those watch outs are, and what to expect, I think is all kind of advantage McVay. I think the advantage on the Cincinnati side, from coach to quarterback to team, is it just feels a little bit like they're playing with house money, right? I mean, they're ahead of schedule. They kind of remind you of the '84 Dolphins a little bit, and some of those types of teams. So it's all kind of house money. And so when you're sort of in that position, very easy to just kind of get out there and cut it loose.
Well, what's funny to me is that, I love talking coaches and stuff, and Zac Taylor, by all accounts, last year was on the hot seat, I would say.
Yeah.
It was like, we just got Joe Burrow, maybe we start fresh. And like, I talked to some people that, cover the Bengals or whatnot, and they were like, yeah, I think we should just start fresh with a new coach, bring him in, because him and Joe Burrow can kind of grow together. Here he is a year later in the Super Bowl. And I think it goes to show, I've said many times, and I'm curious what you guys think. Maybe I'm off my rocker, but I think there's like 3 to maybe 5, probably not even 5 though, like elite coaches that they actually elevate the team. I think Sean McVay is in that category when you see what he's done with, Jared Goff and other players, and now with having Matthew Stafford. And there's probably 3 to 4, like barely even good enough to be head coaches. Like they're fringe head coaches that probably shouldn't be. And then everyone else is pretty much a solid coach, but they need the right personnel and the right pieces to do that. And I think this example of Zac Taylor and getting his quarterback in Joe Burrow is like the perfect example of that. A guy that a year ago was literally like, should we move on from, let's start fresh. And now he's in the Super Bowl. Am I crazy, or does that seem
No,
fair?
I think you're right on about that. I mean, I think there's so many pieces on a football team that there's always the question. The famous one is Belichick and Brady combination. Yeah. Who's going to be able to be more successful? And we'll see what happens with that whole conversation. But I mean, yeah, I think that. In terms of all the moving pieces, if you have a fantastic quarterback, I'm trying to think of a great example of a mediocre coach with a great quarterback. We've seen it go on the opposite direction, where there's a good coach that wins a Super Bowl with, your Joe Flacco's of the world or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we've seen it in the opposite direction. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But
here's like I don't know if this is okay. So this is a phenomenal coach on both levels. You probably know where I'm going to go with this, but he's not necessarily like an X's and O's guy that like changed the game. He's just like a good CEO, leader of men. Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has a bad first run as a head coach in the NFL, goes to SC, recruits well, ends up getting Matt Leinart, Reggie, all these phenomenal players. They win national championships. Well, then he goes to Seattle, and after his first year, gets Russell Wilson, and they've kind of ridden that off together. And we saw this year when Russell Wilson wasn't healthy, or Russell Wilson, Seahawks were a 6-win team, 7-win team. So I love Pete Carroll. I know he's a rival of the Rams, but I think of Pete Carroll first at USC. Great coach, but he's not like the Sean McVay of like, I'm going to game plan so well that I can put players in a better position. He's kind of a rah guy that needs the personnel. What do you say to that?
No, Ryan, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that in many ways the NFL has it sort of all wrong in terms of the decision of who your head coach should be. Mm-hmm. And I think that we sort of go into this revolving door and musical chairs of coaches. I think that the margin for error in the NFL is so small. Mm-hmm. These games are so close. The difference between a 6-win team and an 11-win team is literally half a dozen to a dozen plays over the course of a season. Even if you look at our 2 Super Bowl participants, the Rams and the Bengals are both 6 points away from being at home after the first round. Yeah. Like that's how fine a margin of error you're dealing with over here. And so
look at the Chargers, 30 seconds from being in the playoffs.
30 seconds from being in the playoffs.
They have the talent to maybe get to this
Absolutely. Point. No question about it. And so when we're putting all this emphasis on the coach as the key linchpin that can change the fortune of a team, I think that emphasis, if we're going to do it anywhere in a game that has the parity of the NFL, it has to be at the GM level and it has to be the scouting. Mm-hmm. Because where you can actually fundamentally get better is in the draft and through free agency and through trades. More so necessarily than schematically, because everybody kind of knows what other people are running outside of those top 5 guys. Mm-hmm. And so I think that we still kind of think in this world where, hey, if I just change the head coach, all my problems are going to be solved. And it's the easy thing to do. And that's kind of how corporate America does things. And so that behavior spills over into the NFL. But the reality is that it probably the GM and the scouting department should be on as short a leash, if not shorter, than the head coach, because that's really the moving function in the NFL. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah. And a lot of coaches operate differently too, and how much they take on, how much they delegate, kind of thing. I just know from talking to Frosty a bunch too, because I've always been fascinated by, like, because most fans out there see something go wrong, immediately the coach's fault.
Right.
Blame the coach, but bad preparation. He's getting out coached on every level, blah, blah, blah. And so I've talked to Frosty a bunch, and he's like, at this level, obviously the coach is responsible for some things, but a lot of it's on player leadership and the captains of the team. And because you kind of install your game plan, and then once you get to the game time, it's like, it's on the players, and the coaches obviously have a role to do, and they have they have to install the game plan still. And then once you get off script, how they call games and how they call plays, but so much more is on the players.
Ryan, and you use the Pete Carroll example, and I would say that the individual that is struggling in that situation is more Pete Carroll, the GM, than Pete Carroll, the coach. I think what Pete Carroll had the advantage of, I mean, if you really look at the Seahawks over his tenure, there was really a rise, and then obviously after the phantom handoff to Marshawn Lynch, things just haven't been the same since. But those were all within the first 3-4 years of his career in Seattle, when he still had a great deal of understanding and influence in the college game and an awareness of those players in the Pac-12. He sort of was really plugged into the college game from a talent standpoint. Once he started getting removed more from that pipeline, that's when you saw the Seahawks kind of drop off a little bit. And so Pete Carroll, the coach, has always been kind of Pete Carroll, the coach. I think where he really had the advantage early in Seattle was Pete Carroll, the GM, was a lot better than Pete Carroll, the GM now. And I think it speaks to that point that the GM is actually really the linchpin more than the coach, but we equate it with the coach because that's the person we see on TV every Sunday and in press conferences every week.
And that's the funny thing too, is, the lifespan, or not the lifespan, but the credibility of a GM can go up. And like, I remember 3-4 years ago, everyone saying John Schneider's a top 3 GM. And I always said, nothing against John Schneider, but I'm like, well, you kind of got lucky, got Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. Other than that, they've really missed a lot of picks. They've blundered in free agency. And now everyone's kind of seeing like, oh, maybe they don't have the best GM there. And you look at, I remember Thomas Dimitroff in Atlanta was considered a great GM. And then he's obviously out of a job now for the last 2 years. So I think it is a lot more on the GM behind the scenes, like what we've all been saying, than what just kind of a fan sees on the sidelines and want to put all the blame on that head coach for what they do. But that being said, McVay has the advantage this week. All that getting into it, McVay, and like I said, I think McVay is the top 5 coach. I want to put you on the spot. Who are your top 5 coaches in the league right now?
I got to put Belichick there just because of what he's done.
Yeah. I put Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, of course. Yep. Yeah.
We were talking. Well, I'll let you think, and you can think too.
Thank you.
We were talking right before we jumped on here about Andy Reid's coaching tree, and not even. Well, yeah, it's his tree, but his 03. Remind me all the names, Jamal. But his 03 Eagles team. He was the head coach. But Brad Childress was his OC.
Yes.
Pat Shurmur was quarterbacks or tight ends.
Yep.
Who was he had a big name wide receiver coach also.
Well, he had Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera was linebackers.
Yep.
Steve Spagnuolo was secondary.
Yep.
Sean McDermott was
yes.
DBs.
Yes.
John Harbaugh was special teams.
Right.
Dave Tube was assistant special teams.
Right.
Like the unbelievable.
Half the NFL.
Yeah, was on his coaching staff. Like unbelievable Andy Reid's coaching tree. And now I feel like it's almost been, not that it should be, but stained almost because of how Doug Peterson's tenure ended in Philly. Obviously now he's gotten hired by Jacksonville, and then how Matt Nagy's tenure went in Chicago. But really outside of Nagy, his tree's been pretty good too overall. So anyway, that being said, back to you.
I pulled up my QB and coach confidence list so I can see the names here.
Love it. Oh man, that's amazing.
Or if Jamal, you can jump in.
Yeah. I mean, I got to put Mike Tomlin up there as well.
Yeah.
He's led such,
I don't know how that guy doesn't get more respect. Mike, what is it? He's never had a losing season?
Never. Yeah.
It's
even
insane.
This year when he should have.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah. Corpse of a quarterback.
And every year people like in Pittsburgh want him out. I'm like, what are you? I would take Mike Tomlin in a heartbeat.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know if I take him over McVay just because I do love McVay, but for most teams, you'd take Tomlin in a heartbeat. Okay. So Tomlin. So do you have Reid in there also?
Yeah.
So Belichick,
definitely.
Reid, Tomlin. Okay.
I mean, McVay's he's moving up there so quickly. I mean, then let's see here.
I would have McVay top 5.
Yeah.
2 Super Bowls in
Absolutely.
5 years, and what he's done just like in the culture of the NFL and schematically and that new identity of like the young coach, like that's because of McVay. So I'd have him top 5 for sure. If anyone,
I mean, I want to say John Harbaugh. I mean,
I would have John Harbaugh in there.
I mean,
I think John Harbaugh. He's only had 1 losing season. Well, now 2 with this year. He's only had 2 losing seasons.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to rank them because there's guys that I really respect from X's and O's perspective. That I mean, Matt LaFleur is phenomenal so far.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not getting in past the certain games of the playoffs.
LaFleur's always an interesting one because I think he's a great mind. Obviously, comes from that Mike Shanahan tree. That was a question in McVay's press conferences about his coaching tree, and he deflected nicely and said, "Those are coworkers that are doing it in their own right."
I thought that was a great
Yeah.
answer. He said, "I'm too old, or
Or
I'm too young to have a coaching tree." That's for like Bill
The day
Walsh.
Sean McVay becomes too old for something is really, oh boy.
I love that answer. But it's in reality, it's the Mike Shanahan tree because all of them were under Mike Shanahan, Kyle's dad. But LaFleur, obviously a great mind, but I'm curious what he'll be like without Aaron Rodgers because obviously his 1 year, he was with the Rams, didn't call plays, went to Tennessee, called plays 1 year. And that was, I believe, was that the year they got Tannehill, or was he still Marcus Mariota when he was there?
I think that was when the year they made the switch kind of mid-season. Yeah.
So that was kind of what turned
Yeah.
people's heads to him because they saw the difference there. But then he goes to Green Bay, and they've been great. Don't get me wrong, but when you have Aaron Rodgers, that helps. Kind of our conversation of old, like how much of the quarterback, how much is the coach. So if Rodgers leaves this year, that's what we'll really, I think, see.
For sure.
Still very good though.
Yeah, Ryan, I have very similar. I mean, basically identical list. I think it's Belichick, Tomlin, McVay, Reed, and Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Yeah, he's not top 5 for me. Everyone knows. Everyone listens to my show. He's for sure. I think he's for sure top half. I could probably go top 10, but
I mean, his play calling it just gives me goosebumps sometimes.
As an offensive mind, I put him like top 2.
Yeah,
as a head coach, I just think there's a lot to be left to be desired of what he. I don't know, but he's making.
I think it's the opposite, right? I think it's the opposite effect. Like he's been to 2 NFC Championship games in 3 years with Jimmy G as his quarterback.
Yeah.
Jimmy G is a below average quarterback.
Yeah.
Period.
But the only difference with him is those other 3 years were losing seasons.
Yeah.
So like 2 great, 3 awful, whereas McVay's had 5 winning seasons, 2 Super Bowls.
Well, and to your point about talking about the importance of GMs, he's kind of been operating as the offensive side GM, and we haven't.
Which I think is not.
He hasn't done very well. I mean, he hand selected Jimmy G. A lot of his offensive draft picks. I mean, Trey Sermon this year didn't do well, and then benched, and then he got injured, and and they traded up for that guy, which is in the Les Snead manual of drafting is exactly what you want to avoid.
No, that's a great point. I think when he gets on a roll play calling, there's just nobody like him, frankly.
No, like I said,
McVay included.
Phenomenal offensive mind. And I think I spoke with someone who's a 49ers guy, and he just thinks if Kyle would give up more control of the GM, the personnel duties, and just coached, he could be that much better. Because I think that's what's been their demise is that's why they've had 3 losing seasons.
I really wonder what John Lynch does all week. How does that guy fill 40 hours in a week? How does he fill 4 hours in a week? I have no idea what he does. He's got the cushiest job in town, man. I want to be John Lynch when I grow up.
He seems to have a high level of respect.
Yes, high level of respect, a high level of salary. He wears nice suits. I mean, it's a.
Didn't Shanahan get hired, and then Shanahan hired John Lynch basically
to be the other way around? I can't remember. I can't remember the title.
I thought Shanahan came, it was within like a week of each other.
Oh, maybe you're right.
But I thought Shanahan was first, and then he's the one that basically called Buddy John John Lynch, who played for his dad Mike Shanahan in Denver.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else before we wrap this up. Top 5 wise, coaching wise.
I like Harbaugh. I mean, I don't know if you get John Harbaugh and instantly you're just feeling completely different about your team. I don't know if he's at that level. I know Shanahan has a ton of deficiencies, but his ceiling is very high. His floor is very low. But I think those are really only the 5 guys for me whose ceilings are so high that they can really kind of change the course of how you think strategically about the game.
Yeah, I think Sean McDermott seems pretty good so far.
Yeah, McDermott.
Yeah. He's done some good things.
Got to put McDermott in there.
And then Sean Payton now retired, so yeah, I think that's a good 5. So, But yeah, anyway, I think we'll get into this interview with Chef KK unless you guys have anything else you want to add before we wrap up this little.
Somebody asked Sean McVay what kind of music he's listening to.
Okay.
In which it was revealed that he is a big R&B guy.
R&B.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, I would not have guessed that.
I was thinking
wow.
like Pink Martini with some Sade or something.
Yeah,
R&B.
so he referenced Luther Vandross and Bobby Brown were early influences that he still listens to.
I could never picture Sean McVay being an R&B guy.
Interesting.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Some soulful stuff. I wonder if he likes barbecue too.
He likes rosé. We know that.
We know he likes rosé. thanks to Hard Knocks. It's funny. I talked to
people shit talk rosé. Rosé is a fantastic wine. You get a nice Provence rosé.
Okay.
You can drink it.
You are a big wine guy.
I am. Yeah,
I mean, this guy was in Vegas for the Shrine Bowl. I had him on my show, and I'm drinking like my whiskey like at home. And as we're repping, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to pop open this nice bottle of red now.
Pinot Noir, yeah.
You're in Vegas.
That's amazing.
I love it.
My wife's best friend, her favorite hashtag is #rosé all day, so.
Yeah. Have you seen that wine, Rosé All Day? They sell at Target, anywhere, Bevmo. It's an actual brand, Rosé All Day.
Oh.
Have you got to get your wife that.
Post Malone has his own rosé now.
Yeah. Whose the one that's white girl rosé? Is that the Fat Jewish? Have you heard of the Fat Jewish?
I've never heard of the Fat Jewish.
Oh, he's some like big social media influencer or whatever. Oh. Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's him. It's the white girl rosé.
That seems on brand.
It seems on brand.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And then, but yeah, all day rosé. I have a bottle at home. I'll send you a picture when I get home.
Love it.
I think your wife would love that.
Absolutely. She'll be happy to see that.
Oh, wine.
I'm expanding my
perfectly
horizons.
to food. So.
There we go. So now, what you need to pair that wine with? We'll get into this with Chef KK. A lot of fun. Stick around. We'll wrap up after she jumps off. All right, we are live on Radio Row, the LA Football Network here. Excited and in anticipation for the Super Bowl. Our first guest on Radio Row, which we're excited about, Chef KK, celebrity chef. You've done stuff with a lot of celebrities and athletes, which we'll get to here in a minute. But first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, happy to be here. This is a first for me, so really happy that I'm here with you guys and just get to talk.
Are you from here in LA?
Born and raised.
Excellent. Right on.
I love it. Like me.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Chef KK, whereabouts?
I have been all over, but mostly South Central.
Nice.
Like raised
Okay.
me, yeah.
So are you a big football fan?
I love football.
You don't have to lie.
No, if I had to pick a sport, it would be football.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I've never been to a Dodgers game.
Never.
Wow.
I've never been to any football. I mean, any baseball game. No, I've never been to a Dodgers game.
You're not missing out on a lot, in my opinion. But
Man.
Well, I'm definitely a football. I like it.
Okay, we got 2 teams in LA now, professional football teams, 2 college teams.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you picking?
I'm picking the Rams.
All right.
And I'm picking SC.
Okay.
All
All right.
answer.
This is our UCLA guy, so.
Well, I went to SC undergrad too. So,
Okay.
yeah, he went to both. He went to both.
Oh,
I
wow.
went to USC preschool.
Okay.
so it starts really early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my sister went to 32nd Street back. So,
Oh, no way.
yeah, and I mean, I grew up on Jefferson. I went to Catholic school on Jefferson. So, I mean, that's in South Central. I'm SC
That's
all the
awesome.
way.
So what got you into food?
Just being with family and, being really tall. I was cooking really early and I like eating it. So I was like, I think I'm interested in this. Let me go to culinary school. And so I went to LA Trade Tech right down the street.
Okay.
And it took off from there. I told myself, I said, I want to be a private chef and I want to cook for celebrities and athletes. I want to travel all around the world. And I did it.
Was it a family member that got you into it? Who had you cooking at an early age?
I wouldn't say that it was a family member that got me fully into it. I'm the only one in my family that has, gone this route. But I think that we all really enjoy good food in my family. And so, that was something that it was easy to just do. But I think when I think of food and family, I would go closely to my aunt.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So 2-part question. As just an eater, what's your go-to food? And then as a chef, what's your go-to food to make?
As an eater, my go-to food is Mexican.
Okay. Good answer.
Yes, 100%. And then as a chef, my go-to meal is I don't really have one. Because because everybody is so different.
Mm-hmm.
I like to just experiment with things and figure it out. But I'm really into fish right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I'm into a lot of fish right now.
Is there a certain kind you like best, or all of it?
I
know some of it's hard to cook. It's a different preparation, right?
Yeah, but you know what? It's this fish it's literally called whitefish.
Oh, sure.
And but they never have it anymore, and I love it. But I used to get it from Gelson's, and then sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's so hard to keep.
Have you ever had Opa?
Yes.
That's kind of similar, right, to whitefish a little bit?
No.
Shows what I know. I was a server for like 15 years, but I never actually cooked it. So I sold it the way I was told to sell it.
Yeah. I don't even know what to compare it to. It's so good to me though, because it's not too thick, it's not too chewy. It's really perfect. But it's just called whitefish.
Whitefish.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. You
So
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If I'm having a Super Bowl party at the house, 30, 35 really good friends, what is your recommendation, Chef KK,
as to what the cuisine should be to make that just a perfect party?
Oh, well, okay. I would have to ask some background questions like, well, what do you like? What are your favorites? What do you hate? Or do you like spicy food? I like to get a feel of who you are first, and then I can give you real heartfelt recommendations. That's if I was, talking with the client and they want me to come cook for them. If it was left up to me in my house, I would just be eating probably some wings or something, probably baked and super easy and a spinach dip.
How hot do you like to go for the wings?
I can go as hot as I can.
All right.
Yeah.
Sign the waiver. You're good.
Sign the waiver. I love spicy food. There's no limit to me. So I will go as hot as possible.
You got quite the impressive list of clients that you've had over the years. The two that jump off the list for me are Von Miller and Melvin Ingram because they've played here in the area.
Mm-hmm.
What do they like to eat?
Melvin, we'll start with Melvin. Melvin is a lean protein type of guy, a lot of fish. He tries to stay away from the carbs as much as possible. A lot of vegetables and just, flavorful, good food. I know he's from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So he's from the South, as well as Vaughn. They're both from the South.
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn's from Texas. So they love that Southern cooking, but I think they really like my food because I can give them that vibe, but still keep it fresh in California and, with the fresh vegetables and all of that. So it's very relatable. But yeah, definitely Melvin would go that direction. And then, Vaughn really likes to stay with his fish too. He'll do some chicken and stuff, but he likes to stay with his fish and his vegetables. Keep it fresh, keep it light. They care about their figures a lot.
I wonder why. Doesn't Vaughn have a chicken farm?
He does.
So do you ever use any of those chickens?
He been telling me he was going to send me some of that chicken for so long. He still hasn't, but no, I don't. No.
Okay. So I've always wondered with celebrity chefs like yourself, and you don't have to divulge your secrets, but is there a network? How do you get introduced to these guys, or how do they find you? Because obviously Vaughn being from Texas, but he played in Denver. He just now is in LA. And so how do you meet these guys to become and girls to become their chefs?
It's a lot of word of mouth. It's it's maybe somebody that knows somebody who's had my food before knows. I know a lot of people, luckily for me, and being born and raised in LA, it's if you're anybody, once you make it from anywhere, 9 times out of 10, you come out here, whether it's to vacation or to, work or live or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times it's been word of mouth, who knows who needs a service. And a lot of times I also get referred because, my food is great and the energy is good and people know that they can refer me and I'm going to deliver. So a lot of it is just word of mouth, or even, some of these guys, they're all friends too. Mm-hmm. So it's oh, okay, I met that person, I met that, and
yeah.
Then you just know everybody.
So when are you cooking for OBJ? Because that's Vaughn's best friend. Is that happening? Or?
I don't know. I'm not really. I don't know right now.
Okay, I'm sure you're busy.
Yes.
Talk to us about 40 Love, executive chef 40 Love, sports bar in Hollywood right here in LA. What's the? I've never been. So talk to me about 40 Love and what you do there and the love there.
40 Love.
Pun intended.
40 Love is amazing. I'm the executive chef there. I have a great, head chef and team that is there every day that makes sure that everything is, great.
Mm-hmm.
I created the menu, wrote the recipes, and I really help with like overseeing the kitchen there. It's a really dope like sports bar. You know, it's a real vibe. It's indoor outdoor. It's like a country club theme. Hence the 40 Love.
Okay, tennis, yeah,
exactly. So it's like we have great waitresses and like tennis skirts and polos and like we have like 20 TVs and like it's really small and like personal. It's like once you come to 40, like you can become a regular there. You know, like it's one of those places that you can just really just chill and enjoy and just watch, games back to back. I know I have people that text me and just be like, we want to get the private room for the whole day. During the finals, it's like the games start at 11, 1 or something, and then they'll stay all day for all the games and just eat and drink and have a good old time. So it's really laxed and just a vibe, good food.
So how, because I know you think sports bar, you think wings, how does the 40 Love's menu, just how's the food, is it different, or is it just more like kind of your take on bar food, or is it like upscale, if that makes sense?
It is my take on what I did was try to elevate classics.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, our cheeseburger, which some people have said is the best cheeseburger they've ever had.
Ooh.
I mean, I can't.
That's strong words. Those are strong words. Yes.
That, not me. But let's say for the cheeseburger, for instance, it's very simple. It's just 2 meat, 2 cheese, onions, ketchup, garlic aioli on a brioche bun. But it is like so good. Like it's incredible.
It's like a double from In-N-Out raised to the next level.
Raised to the next level because my seasoning is on it. Like that is the key.
I was going to ask you, what is it? The bread? Is it the cheese? The meat? The seasoning?
The flavor. Okay. It just melts in your mouth. It's so good. And we're like, we have a hot dog on the menu, and I just basically took, we're from any event you go to in LA, you're gonna see the street vendors with the bacon wrapped hot dogs. So I just elevated that. So we have like a bacon wrapped hot dog on the menu, and we have real classics that were elevated. I also have a lot of Mexican influence. We have tacos. We have
what kind of like street tacos, or
we have crispy beef hard shell tacos.
Crispy beef, okay.
And we have shrimp tacos.
Shrimp tacos.
Ooh, great. That's the way to go right there.
My mother-in-law's Mexican, so she makes pretty good fish tacos.
Yeah.
So we'll have to come and try them.
And we do all flats on our wings.
Oh. I'm a flat. I ordered all flats.
Oh, interesting.
Excuse me. We do all flats. I was like, I want all flats.
Yeah.
All right.
So all flats.
Are you a drum guy or you're a flat guy?
Oh, I'm a flat guy for sure.
Are you drum or flat?
I like the mixture. I like to switch it up. I like them both.
One's
good for one.
Sometimes you get a drum that looks like they're like pumping that chicken with something. So I like to stick to flats.
That's true.
I was very adamant about the wings because they had to be the perfect size because I'm big on that. Like chicken can be just as bad as anything else. A lot of people frown their face on like certain foods, but I mean, you get the wrong chicken and it's just as bad as a piece of pork.
So let me ask you this: Is the chicken wing the champion, the Super Bowl champion? Does it take home the ring of all bar food, Super Bowl football party snacks?
The bar food of all bar food, I'm gonna give it to French fries.
Okay.
Chicken tenders.
Okay.
And wings.
Okay.
Those are the top 3.
So I think you answered this question already, but if you had to choose a side dish, are you going fries, tater tots, or onion rings?
Onion rings.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you make onion rings?
Onion rings. I love onion rings. I've been wanting to put it on the menu there. I haven't yet, but
okay.
I love onion rings. It's so good.
There you go.
Love it.
Are you guys doing anything for the Super Bowl there? Anything special at 40 Love?
You know what? I'm actually working on a special menu right now. I'm gonna have that out by Friday.
Oh, cool.
No, just another turned up game up at 40. It's always something going on there. So it's one of those places you want to make your reservation early because we won't have tables available.
Good to know. Good to know.
Oh, so you are doing reservations though?
Oh yeah, we always do reservations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just love the name. I mean, I'm a huge tennis fan, and so just the 40 Love. I love the ode to it. Do you guys do kind of late night tennis matches over there too, or
no,
Australian Open,
3 a.m.
We don't have the room, but I mean, it's such a beautiful place. It's dope. The bar is nice. The drinks are so good.
Okay.
Oh my God, we have craft cocktails. They're so amazing. And yeah. I think
We'll be
4011.
checking it out.
It's a good
For
place
sure.
to just come. Honestly, even if a game's not on, it's like, oh, I just want to grab some food. Like, you know that you're gonna get a good meal and you'll be happy leaving.
So you got a show coming up on the BBC.
Mm.
Hungry for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit
I
about
mean,
that.
just because you're not busy enough, let's throw in a TV show
That's
too.
why I'm like, you said, oh damn. I'm just like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, that is really exciting for me. It's going to be my first TV show. It's 8 episodes.
Wow.
It's a cooking competition. I filmed it in London.
Okay.
I filmed it. It's going to be me and Big Zoo, who's another chef from London.
Okay.
As well as Stacey Dooley, who's a huge personality in London with BBC. But Zoo and I are the mentors / judges.
Okay.
So
you bring other people in to do the competition. You like oversee it.
Yeah, so it's 10 contestants that are all that want the prize at the end. It'll be narrowed down to one winner, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And just throughout the whole series, Zoo and I are mentoring the cooks and giving them great feedback and trying to help them be the best that they can. And we mentor them all the way to the end. And every episode, someone gets cut. So it's very intense.
Wow. This has already been shot?
It's already been shot, yeah. And also the cooks, like, they live together in the house, so they live together and they like competed against each other. And so each episode, it's like, it's really intense. It's a lot of different competitions within each episode. So honestly, for me, filming it every day was so fun. That's why I'm like, everybody is gonna love this show. Like I had a great time watching it happen in real time.
So you're a mentor on that show? That's your role?
I'm a mentor and judge. Yes.
So that's you're kind of like the head coach.
Yeah.
Sean McVay. Okay.
So we have like a restaurant kitchen and a pop-up kitchen. So the restaurant kitchen is my kitchen, and the pop-up kitchen is Zoo's, because Zoo's like self-taught, and I'm like, well, not even like, but I'm a classically trained chef. So I have the big kitchen. He has the pop-up, and like whoever ends up in his pop-up kitchen is up for elimination. Whoever's in mine is safe. And like they go through those episodes, like just doing a bunch of different competitions. It's so dope. Like
that
really
sounds
cool.
amazing. Was there something that surprised you about kind of the chef talent in London, and was this things that surprised you, things that you expected from this experience?
Absolutely. You know, they were all so talented, and also what really was dope for me was like I'm clearly from America, and they're all, you know, from the UK, from different parts of you know, Europe or London area, and their go-to flavors were different than what I'm used to. They did a lot of like Indian stuff.
Oh, there we go.
Sure.
They did a lot of Indian like cuisine, a lot of Indian, a lot of African, and it was funny that, you know, they did have a they touch on Mexican food at one point, and I watched them all kind of be like,
nervous.
what the fuck? Like, like they don't eat it like that, you know, like and when I'm just like, you know, ooh, yeah, you know, Mexican day, you know. So
well, you're a big fan of Mexican
amazing.
food.
Yeah,
could you get anything over there while you're
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
They had Taco Bell.
Yeah, I'm saying
They
that's
had Taco
Mexican
Bell.
food.
Not really.
No.
It was like flour tortillas and stuff. I didn't want anything. It was okay, but I did get a chance to really tap into like watching them be as creative as they were. It was a lot of, like I said, a lot of Indian influence out there. And me, I don't really cook Indian food as much, you know, like it's not as big as it is in the UK. So it was nice seeing that that was their go-tos for so many different things. Yeah. Like it was really nice. It was dope. It's so much culture out there.
Oh yeah.
So it's so many, it's like a huge melting pot.
Yeah.
I look at London like New York of Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's just like,
did they use a lot of spices and make things spicy? Because when I was in Ireland, obviously a different country, but it's part of the UK, they like do not believe in hot sauce or spices. Like everything was like, nothing against it, but it's just very bland, if you will, compared to what we're used to and over here.
Also, you know, it was, the show in itself, the cooks on the show were also very diverse, and it was a bunch of different nationalities. We had like Philip, you know, one of the girls are Filipino, you know, a couple African people on the show, an African girl, African guy, just so many different cultures, Italian, you know. So I was able to really try food that I wasn't even used to really having, and just seeing that like people don't mind spice, you know.
That's good.
And people don't mind it in different places. But yeah, it was dope. I was like, wow, you guys, they were so young too.
Mm-hmm.
And I just left really inspired. It was very touching. I think I cried on one of the episodes.
Oh, that's terrific.
Like, it was so good. It really, it was wow.
So
when
is it airing?
Yeah, but I mean, people don't realize that, you know, the best Indian food in the world is in London. It's not in India.
Not in India.
You know, after the British ruled India for, you know, several centuries. So, yeah.
It's in India. I mean, it's in London.
Right.
No, I mean, it's everywhere. It was so much. Like, honestly, it was a lot. I know I found myself like towards the end. I think I ate ramen like 6 days in a row. It was so good. Like,
ramen's great. Good ramen is great.
And then it was just cold, and it was perfect. But yeah, it was a lot of them making like dal and like making a lot of like naan on their own, and using a lot of those using those spices to create and elevate other dishes. And like I came back, you know, like, okay, let me put a little bit of this in here and a little bit of that, because it's like I don't really touch on these flavors that much. But I'm sorry, what did you ask me?
I think what's your go-to Indian dish, Jamal?
Oh, go-to Indian dish is, you know, you got to look at kind of some chicken biryani, you know, chicken tikka masala, tandoori chicken. There's a lot. Kind of, my family's from North India, so it's a lot more of the meat and rice and all of that. South India is more kind of like the dosas and things of that nature, and the vegetarian stuff. So, but it's all goodness, you know. So
I actually just ordered Indian food the other night. I ordered from Badmash.
Oh, Badmash, yeah. Well, I was just there a couple of nights ago with some friends. Yeah,
I love it. The spot.
I just ordered because I live over in that area, so I Postmate everything.
That's amazing. Yeah, Badmash in Hindi means mischievous. So so they're very mischievous with their recipes. Like it's you know, tandoori chicken wings, and you know, it's a lot of fusion stuff.
Exactly.
With the poutine, exactly.
Oh, poutine.
Oh, Chef KK is next level. I mean, you know.
I love eating. I mean, I love eating and I love cooking. So I really love to like go. I go to a lot of restaurants. Like I've been to everywhere in LA. Like,
well, we have a great food scene, obviously.
We do. So. We have a great food scene.
What's your we'll get a couple more and we'll get you out of here. What's your favorite spot in LA that's not your own?
I mean, you know, it's all
where should we be going?
Yeah.
Well,
after 40 Love, of course.
Yeah.
The last restaurant I went to was Bavel.
Oh yeah, the Mediterranean place downtown.
Yes.
Arts District.
Exactly. I just went there last week. Love it. That's probably like my 4th time there.
Okay.
The shrimp with the tzatziki from there is so good. OMG. I also love Damien. It's a Mexican restaurant that's actually right down the street from there.
Okay.
In the Arts District. What else? I mean, then we have the go-tos like Abra, the more commercial places. Abra, Love Catch. But I'm all over the place. You know, I go to Giada. It's a sandwich spot on Melrose.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my little area. So I love Giada. They have really good sandwiches. I get the Olivia, which is like a pesto chicken salad on a ciabatta. That's really good. It just depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm in the mood for. And like I said, I live in, you know, Wilshire area, Larchmont area. So I got all the food over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose I haven't eaten yet today. I'm real hungry.
Man.
What time is it? I haven't even eaten yet today. Just realized that.
I'm on my 5th cup of water.
Yeah. I know. I think we're on like 5 cups of coffee. So that's what's holding me over. So Hungry for It, BBC, when's it airing? When can we check it out?
It is going to be airing later this year, springtime, I believe. They just put a lot of press out, letting us know that it'll be coming, you know, soon.
Great.
Soon.
Does it stream anywhere or just live on BBC? Or they'll probably decide that.
I think it's going to be streaming.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be streaming. So more info on that will be out sooner than later. If they want to follow, if you guys want to follow me on my Instagram, keep up with me.
There we go. Plug that. What's the Instagram?
Yeah.
My Instagram is Chef KK, Chef KAYKAY.
Easy enough.
Perfect.
Yes.
Chef KK. Great. Well, before we get you out of here, we are at the Super Bowl. Who's winning? Rams taking it. The Bengals. Who you got?
Rams. LA Rams. We're taking it at SoFi Stadium.
I love it. You got a score?
A
lot to a little.
Yeah.
a lot to a little.
Yeah, we taking it. We taking it.
Love it.
Sure.
Chef KK, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it. Hungry for it. Obviously, 40 Love. We will be there. I'm thinking we're going to be there this week or next week. We'll have to go check it out. So.
Oh my God. And I have a seasoning. Like, you can get my seasoning.
I was going to ask
Oh,
for the bird. So you have a seasoning you sell.
Yes, I have an all-purpose seasoning that is like, it's a dream, honestly. It's so good. If it wasn't mine, I would still be, I stand on whatever I put whatever I'm attached to. This seasoning is really great for anybody who like struggles with like flavorful food in the kitchen.
Mm.
It's like one thing. That's all
One
you
done.
need.
That's all you need.
One-stop shop. There we
Yes.
go.
Do you sell it online or do you have to get it at 40 Love?
I do sell it online at chefk.com.
Chefk.com.
So chefkay.com.
I'm picking some up today.
It's so
So,
good.
Love it.
Change
I
your
can't
life.
wait. Is it good for everything? Burgers, steak,
Burger,
everything?
steak, pasta,
Okay.
vegetables, anything, rice, mashed potato, whatever you want to do.
Love
Eggs. I love it in eggs.
Great. Well, we're picking up chefk.com. Get the seasoning. Chef KK, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. For
Enjoy the
having
week.
Me. You too.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for our. Did we decide it's day 1B or 2 today? Monday.
Yeah, 1B.
1B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Day 1B from Radio Row. Tomorrow on the docket. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline confirmed already. Who's our guest list tomorrow? I'm already drawing a blank on who we got. We got
Sproles tomorrow?
Darren Sproles tomorrow. Great.
Bright and early.
And early. Yeah, don't say we don't do stuff for you guys. Darren Sproles, former Charger, electrifying. And then we have, I probably should just have it in front of me if I'm going to try to, Solomon Wilcots, former Bengal great. I know, everyone listening is probably Rams fans, but we got to get the other side of it. Got to get the Bengals side, so we'll have Solomon
We
on.
do have the Bengals helmet there, next to the Rams helmet.
Yeah, it's only right.
When'd you get that?
They are playing each other.
Yeah.
So funny story. So I got a Rams one and a Chargers one recently, to have in my backdrop. But when I was a kid, I got probably 8 of those size helmets. I was probably 8 years old, and I got like 8 of them. One of them happened to be the Bengals because I thought the helmet looked cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason why. I'm like, who the hell else has a Bengals helmet laying around?
That actually may be the ultimate sort of betting situation where as owner of LA Football Network, there's probably a high probability that it's going to be those 8 helmets that will be in the Super Bowl at some point. So
Okay. Well, it's helmet. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
okay, I retract my previous statement.
But the Steelers,
yeah.
Steelers. I think I got a Vikings one.
Don't count out Salah. I mean, that guy's a hell
Oh,
of a player.
I love Saleh.
Yeah.
I'm a big Saleh guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good hype man. Good
Yeah.
hype man. Good defensive mind. So the jury's out on Zach Wilson, but we'll see. He's still young. Obviously, a lot of talent there. So, yeah, thanks to our sponsors, guys. If you need tickets for the game, tickpick.com. No fees. Use the promo code, or not promo code, but you go to the link, tickpick.com/LAFB. I know tickets are crazy expensive, but it's going to save you money of not paying those fees. I think I looked on StubHub, and the ticket price was like $500 less than TickPick. After the fees, it was like $500 more. It's crazy how much fees they charge you. So TickPick, what you see right there is what you get. tickpick.com/LAFB. And if you're betting, like I said earlier in the show, make sure to check out the link below with all of our betting offers. BetUS is our partner here in California. There's also a link on LAFBnetwork.com. Just go to the menu and go to LAFB betting partners. Gentlemen, should we do this again tomorrow?
I'll be here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll be here.
Bright and early.
Yeah, bright and early tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, our good guys Will Decker and Dan Wolkenstein join us as well. So the Fearsome 5 will be here and the rest of the week. So thank you all for tuning in. Jamal, Ryan, appreciate you. All right, we out. Peace.
Thanks, guys.